Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do a fondant figurine. We're going to do a cow. I recently did make one for a barnyard cake and I had trouble finding a good tutorial online. So I wanted to show you how I made that. You can also check out that cake on my channel. It is titled Barnyard Cake. It was really cute. It had a little sheep and a cow and a little pig. So here's how we're going to do the cow. Just to get started and to make this video somewhat short, I went ahead and pre-rolled some of the shapes. We're just going to use three colors: white, black, and pink. And I'm just doing this in fondant, it's not gun paste. We're going to start out with a larger ball for the body, and then one for the head. We're going to have 4 pieces, 2 shorter ones for the back legs and 2 longer ones for the front legs. This cow's going to be laying down, or in a laying down position. We have 1 smaller piece for his little tail, 2 football shaped smaller pieces for his eyes, and 2 for his little ears and his horns. And then we have 4 for his little hooves, 1 piece for his little tail, and 2 little pupils. And then we have 3 little pieces for his hair. We are going to use some pieces for his spots as well, and then 1 small little pink piece for the cow's little muzzle. So I guess we're going to get started on his head. We'll be right back, guys. So we're going to start with his body, and I just have the white fondant. I want my cow to be a fat little cow, so we've given him a wide little body, and I've just kind of pushed down the front. Okay, I don't like to use toothpicks in my animals. The whole point of them being made in fondant is so that they're edible, and I just don't like that risk. So we'll put him together with some water, and we'll just indent right there for his little head, and that will be just perfectly fine. He'll hold together really well. So we'll be right back. And then we're going to take and form his head, and I've just rolled this into a ball and then into an oval, and now I'm just going to roll and press my finger into the top half of the circle or the oval to form a muzzle for our little cow. So that way we've got the back a little bit more of a rounded ball than the front, if you can kind of see that. So we're going to set that to the side, and we're going to go ahead and form his little muzzle. I've taken a bit of pink, and you can just kind of roll that out. I just kind of push it out with my fingers, but I've got wax paper just folded over the top of that, and we're just going to push that out into a circle. So we have our little head, and we have the smaller portion, or the muzzle portion of the face up front, and we're going to take our little pink oval. You can roll that out however you want to do that. And just to kind of show you before I place it, we're just going to we're going to do the tacky side down. We're just going to kind of place it just over his little face. Okay, and you can see that that's not sticking too well. I'm going to use some water, and just a very little bit of water. You don't need much at all, or you'll ruin your animal. A little bit of black there, but you can see that came off pretty easily. And we're just gonna, just with a bit of water, and what you want to worry about is the top portion. Okay, we can work the bottom out, but you just want to worry about how this front part is going to look, because that's going to be the cow's little face. So just make sure that that's nice and flat. Okay, that the seam's not coming up, and then just work it down, okay? And if he kind of comes out of shape a little bit, you can just kind of put him right back. Just roll him into shape, okay? So I'm gonna set that aside for a moment, and then we'll come back. I have his body back, and we're just gonna let his little face sit for a moment. And I have the smaller portion up front, so we're gonna go ahead and form his legs. Okay, we're just gonna roll those out into long worms. We're gonna flatten one end, and this is gonna be the portion that is actually gonna be tucked under his body. Okay, and then we're just going to kind of turn it, because we want this leg to be laying up against him. Okay, see that? We just squished and flattened it out. You don't have to have a bunch of fancy tools in order to do these animals. I don't right at this moment. I will be getting some here shortly. I kind of live in the middle of nowhere, so it can take me a week or so to get into town. So we're just going to form that around the back of his body like that. Okay, and he's just sitting on it right at this moment. Let's go ahead and get his other legs on. Now we're going to go ahead and take his other back leg, and it's rolled out kind of the same way. And let's go ahead and place our little hoof on the front. We'll do that to the other one in just a minute. But you're just going to take your black circle, and you're just going to flatten it with your finger. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's kind of the way we did the muzzle. We're going to take just a little bit of the water, and it's just a small amount, and we're going to flatten out the top of his foot. And we're going to just put the water on there, and then we're just going to lay that black circle, and then we're just going to wrap that little hoof around. You'll see, guys, that these do not have to be perfect at all, and they're going to come out and they're going to look really, really good. Okay, but be careful with that water and your black fondant. We're just going to set that aside for a minute, and we'll go ahead and take out our other little foot since we haven't placed him yet. With the water, we're going to flatten out the end, and we're also going to place on the hoof as well. So I'm going to get some water, and we're going to place that, and then I'll bring you right back. So all I did was the back leg, just like the other one. I flattened out one little end, and I've just placed it under the back of his body. Okay, and we'll glue those down after we get his basic shape going, just so I know where I want him to lay. On the other side, we have his front little leg in front. So we have one kind of face toward the back, and then one in front. Okay, and you can see that his little feet, once again, where we've placed on these little hooves, that it's just real simple, and it looks really cute. It gives him a nice little touch. So just flatten down his foot. Okay, you can just do that on the table, and then we're going to take a touch of water, just a very, very little. You will completely ruin it if you add too much, so just a touch. And then we're just going to place that fondant disc right on top. You just want it to cover a little bit, and just for a little bit to hang over. And it's fine. You're just going to round it out a bit, and just make sure that it is attached. Okay, and I'm going to set that one to the side. I'm going to do the next one again. Just flatten out his little foot, flatten out your little black ball of fondant with your finger or a roller, or however you want to do it. And then we're going to take just a touch of water, apply it to his foot, just a very little, and tacky side down. If there's no tacky side down, don't worry about it. Or if you don't have a tacky side, don't worry about it. And of his foot, you can just shape it a little bit. There we go. And that one's done as well. I'm just going to place that over to the side, and we're going to work on the rest of them. See how cute that is? And it's just, like I said, a nice little touch. So we'll be right back. Then you're going to take his tail, and we're going to just roll out into like a little tube another piece of black fondant. You're going to place it at the end of his little tail, and we're just going to keep pushing with our fingers. Doesn't have to be perfect. His little features aren't going to be. He's not gonna have perfect features, just like none of us do. He's a little cow, and you can even just leave a little bit of white there, and then you're just going to push and twist the little bottom part of his tail. I don't know if you can make that out, but there's his little tail. And if you want to cover that white part up completely, you can certainly do so. I think we are. We're just going to make the whole tip of his little tail black. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and attach his tail to his body. All right, and all we're going to do that is we're going to form a small triangle, okay, like a point at the end of his tail. See if you can see that. I don't want to move my cow, but we will move that there. You're just going to form a point, okay? And then we're going to take our toothpick, and we're going to turn our body around. I'll show you. We're going to put his little tail in. And I'm just going to take the end of my toothpick. It's a little bit thicker on one end, and we're just going to twist that in to make a hole. And I can tell you that on my cake I did run into a problem. My tail fell off. So it was no big deal. I just put him under, I put his tail under his body, but we're going to make sure that that doesn't happen. So we're going to take just a little bit of that water again, and it's just a little bit, and you're going to just place it inside that hole, and you're going to push the tail into that, okay, that little tip of that tail that you just made, we're going to push right into the back of our cow. And just try to keep the form of his tail the best that you can. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. And if you want to remove part of his tail, if it's too long and you don't like it, you can still do that. And I'm just going to place a little bit of water on the tip of the tail, the part that we're sticking in to his little body. There we go. And then we're going to do a few other little embellishments on his tail as well. But so far, we've got that. So we're going to continue on, and we're going to work on his front legs. So we'll be right back. Do his little front legs. See him? He's kind of fat. But to do his little front legs, we're going to take one of our front little hooves that we've already made, and we're just going to flatten out one portion, and we're going to put it under his body like that. And if it's too long, and this is a bit too long, you're going to have to gauge by the size of your body of your cow, as far as how you want him to look, okay? But we're just going to do the same thing and just kind of bend our little leg the way we want it to go, and then that way you don't have as much of a problem when he starts to dry, okay? And we're just going to rest that little leg right there with his body, okay? See that so far? Okay, so we're going to do the front one, and that's going to rest under his head, his left leg. Flatten out the end and bend it just a bit the way that you want it to go. And this one is actually going to support his head, so we're just going to lift that up and position it for now, just like that, until we get his head on. So there's his little body so far. He's coming along. So now we'll be back and we'll work on his head.